Hi, this is a message for all my credit union friends out there. As you know, American Family Funding does a lot of business in the credit union world. And I want to talk about forbearance and how important you understand what a forbearance is, both for credit union executives, credit union employees, and credit union members. Shout out to Renee. Renee, thanks for encouraging me to get this out to everybody. First of all, what's a forbearance? They're talking about the CARES Act and the fact that you can ask for a forbearance from your lender. Well, what a forbearance is don't make your payment now for maybe 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months, up to 12 months, and you can pay us at the end of that time. You don't have to make a payment today with the promise to pay later. The biggest challenge we run into, though, is this cascading effect when you ask for forbearance or when a member asks for forbearance. Number one, they're going to want you to pay in 3 months. So you don't pay for 3 months, all of a sudden that bill is due. So if you can make the payment, make it, because that lender has to collect those dollars because they're either paying an investor to each month in hopes that they're going to collect from you so they can have the money reimbursed to themselves, or that financial institution needs it in order to pay for its operations. So that's a 3-month forbearance. But what's going to happen in 3 months? If you couldn't pay the last 3 months, in 3 months, you're certainly not going to be able to come up with, let's say it's $2,000 a month. That's $6,000 they're going to want you to come up at the end of 3 months. If it's 6 months, it's 12. So we have this cascading effect that happens, which means then they're going to say, okay, we'll take $12,000, for example, and pay us another $1,000 a month for the next 12 months. Let's say you had a 6-month forbearance. Well, now you're paying $3,000 a month. Most people could barely afford the 2. Now, how are you going to pay the 3, especially if you've been out of work? So then, okay, then maybe they look for a loan modification of some type. Or last but not least, they do a secretary loan, which means they put that amount, that $12,000 plus interest, they add it as a second loan behind your current loan, maybe even your second HELOC, and they have a secretary loan. Ultimately, you're going to owe the payment plus interest when the loan becomes due. So it's really important that you work with your financial institution to have a forbearance that's as short as possible when you can get back to work. Or maybe you could make payments of $1,000 a month when you owe $2,000 a month, so you're not as far behind. One question I get all the time is, what happens if you get a 3-month forbearance? So you're doing good, but you can really afford it, but you're just afraid. You're afraid, so you take that forbearance. And now, at the end of 3 months, you owe $6,000. But let's say you get back to work in 2 months, and you want to refinance that house. The problem is, who's going to want to refinance you if you have a forbearance right now? We don't know yet. We haven't been given guidance through industry on how to treat that term, if you will. Now, I will tell you this. If you're out of work for a month, or you have reduced income for a month or two, and you go back to work, when it comes to qualifying you, we're not using that time frame against you, which is fantastic. But understand that if you're in forbearance, that what lender's going to want to do a new loan if these rates continue to drop if you haven't made a payment in the last 3 months. We're not sure. It might be a month or 2 or 3 or 4 for you to have to start reestablishing payments in order to get a refinance if these rates continue to drop. In addition, that lender still has to pay your taxes and insurance. Where are they going to get those dollars from? So there's a consequence all the way down. It's not as simple as just skipping your payment. There's no government money where your bank or credit union can go and get a pot of money because you're not making the payment. So understand there's a consequence to all these. So number one, call your financial institution right away and just be upfront, transparent, and say, maybe I can afford this. Maybe I can do it for this month, but not next month. But be totally open and transparent because that way they can structure, especially in the credit union world. Credit unions are very good when it comes to working with you when you're just put the cards on the table, if you will. And I'm sure it'll work out. I know you're going through a hard time. If you have any questions, give us a call at American Family Funding or call the credit union that had shared this information with you. Until we speak it again, make it a great day and continue to be safe out there. And we hope this information helps you when making tough financial choices for you and your family. Take care.